You know, for decades, Benjamin Netanyahu has built his entire political brand on one single promise, that he can guarantee Israel's security. But now, a new ceasefire with Iran, something that was supposed to be a win, has backfired. Big time. It's kicked off a political crisis that's shaking the very foundation of his leadership. So let's get into it. Okay, it really all starts with this number right here. 51%. That is the huge chunk of the Israeli public that is dead set against the U.S.-led ceasefire. Now, this isn't just some minor policy disagreement. This is a massive vote of no confidence from the very people Netanyahu has sworn to protect. So, to really wrap our heads around this backlash, we've got to look at it from the public's point of view. For a lot of Israelis, this deal doesn't feel like a victory at all. It feels more like a really dangerous compromise. And that 61% figure, it's not just pulled out of thin air. It comes from a brand new poll by the Institute for National Security Studies, which is a highly respected group. So this is hard data, and it confirms this deep, widespread frustration with how the government is handling things. So the big question is, why? Why are people so angry about this? Well, it really boils down to a major clash between what they were promised and what they actually got. Look, the promise from the government was nothing short of a total, decisive victory. We're talking about the collapse of the Iranian regime, the complete dismantling of all its weapons programs, the whole shebang. But the reality? It's just starkly different. Iran's government is still standing, and its military still has a strategic chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz. That huge gap between the promise and the reality, that's what's fueling so much of this public anger. And all of that frustration, it's breeding some serious skepticism. A full 73% of the public believes this peace isn't going to last. They're looking at this ceasefire as just a timeout before the fight inevitably starts up again. I mean, just think about that for a second. Nearly 3/4 of the entire country expects to be back in a conflict within the next 12 months. And when you believe war is just around the corner, any kind of concession for a temporary truce starts to look like a massive strategic blunder. And of course, whenever you have this much public anger, it doesn't just stay in the streets. It gets political, fast. Netanyahu's rivals see him in a moment of weakness, and believe me, they are jumping at the opportunity. Opposition leader Yair Lapid is really leading the charge on this one. He's accusing Netanyahu of basically surrendering Israeli sovereignty, calling Israel a protectorate state that just takes orders from Washington. That language, wow, it's crafted to be a direct shot at Netanyahu's core image as this strong, independent defender of Israel. And then, coming from another direction, you've got Yair Lapid, a prominent voice on the left, who takes it even a step further. He isn't just saying it was a failure, he's flat out accusing the prime minister of deception, saying he's lying about a historic victory. So, with all this pressure just mounting from every single side, how is Netanyahu responding to all this? Well, his actions really speak volumes. What he appears to be doing is a classic political pivot. As the criticism over the Iran deal gets louder, Israel has suddenly ramped up its military operations in Lebanon. A lot of analysts are looking at this as a calculated move to change the conversation. Project strength over here to distract from what's seen as a weakness over there. But this kind of strategic pivot comes with a devastatingly high human cost. In just the last week, these intensified operations have killed more than 300 people in Lebanon. It's just a brutal reminder that these political chess moves have very real, very lethal consequences. And here's the bigger problem for Netanyahu. The public is starting to connect the dots. For many Israelis, this unpopular Iran deal isn't just a one-off mistake. They're starting to see it as part of a really disturbing pattern, linking it all the way back to the catastrophic security failures on October 7th. It's building this narrative that the leader who always promised security might not be able to deliver it anymore. And according to experts like former diplomat Alon Pincus, this whole diversion in Lebanon, it might not be enough. The political damage from the Iran deal could already be too severe. A show of force in one place can't just magically erase what's seen as a major strategic failure somewhere else. So all of this leaves us with one absolutely critical question. With a frustrated public, with political rivals smelling blood in the water, and with his own reputation as a security hawk in tatters, is this a crisis that Prime Minister Netanyahu can actually survive?